West War Room Rivals is sponsored by Emporia State Federal Credit Union. Learn more at esfcu.com. Text or call the number 620-342-2336 to get started today. ESFCU is the Shovix banking of choice, federally insured by the NCUA. This episode of West War Room Rivals is brought to you by JBW Solutions Industrial Safety Services, your remote safety partner no matter where work takes you. From the job site to the office, JBW Solutions brings OSHA 10 and 30 training, plus a full lineup of compliance services straight to your screen. Whether you're a small crew or a major operation, they make safety simple, accessible, and effective. Visit jbwsolutionsllc.com to learn more today and stay compliant wherever you are. West War Room Rivals is sponsored by Field Ops. Kansas sports fields just got an upgrade with Field Ops. Looking to reserve top quality sports fields in Kansas? Whether you're organizing youth tournaments, adult leagues, or weekend pickup games, Field Ops is your go-to platform for discovering and booking the best athletic fields across the state. Instant online reservations, detailed field info such as locations, amenities, and photos. Field Ops is also trusted by coaches, organizers, and athletes. From Wichita to Overland Park, Field Ops has got you covered with real-time availability and streamlined scheduling. Get in the game at gofieldops.com/Kansas-KS. That's gofieldops.com/Kansas-KS. Welcome to West War Room Rivals, guys. We are coming at you with a brand new episode. We want to give a special shout out to JBW Solutions. Also, we are in the JBW Solutions Studio. We've got a special guest here today. As you can see, we've got the Shovik brothers to my left, and obviously there's myself hosting for tonight. We actually have a special guest. We're going to dive right into it because we've got a full episode for you guys. So we're going to welcome on tonight. We are joined by three-time All-Pro and four-time Pro Bowler, one of the hardest hitting safeties in the NFL in the 90s, and was a cornerstone to the legendary Tennessee Titans defense back on their Super Bowl run in the early 2000s. He was an 8th round pick out of Ball State. Please help us welcome to the JBW Solutions Studios, Mr. Blaine Bishop. Sir, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you guys having me on, man.
Hey, it's
I see
awesome
where your loyalties are at right there, man. That's all good,
yeah.
Right? With the Chiefs and the Raiders, right?
Oh, yeah. Friendships are definitely tested during this time of year for sure.
Especially in the first couple of weeks. I mean, we had obviously the Chiefs-Chargers week 1. Then we had the Chargers-Broncos week 2.
Yeah.
I think it was Chargers and Raiders have already played too. So it's just.
Yeah, that was a Monday Night Football. That was a heartbreak to watch. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was the plan of the NFL. I think have our division games. Even though we actually the Titans played the Broncos that first week there in Denver. Man, I thought they had an interesting shot there. I was really surprised by their performance and hanging tight with the Denver at that time. Really, first day of the year.
That's what we were saying.
We were saying the same, and I think the Titans defense. I mean, they gave them every opportunity to get the offense in position to do it. I still think Cam Ward's the guy. I think they got to work on a couple things as far as, they got, the receivers and whatnot. I really like that young guy, Anamore, whatever.
Maury, I think his name is.
Yeah. Elegant Aurier. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
He's from Stanford.
Mm-hmm. Stanford. He's a Stanford guy. So I think, brighter days are ahead. I don't know where you stand as far as like the coaching staff and stuff goes. As far as that, I know it's getting a little warmer there amongst Titans fans, our followers. Yeah,
I'm not in the business of calling coaches' head, but boy, it's getting hot, boy.
There's a lot of them that are probably feeling that. So,
we're only 4 weeks in. They can still turn it around, but doubt it. They have too many. I mean, we don't have an elite pass rusher. We really don't have a number one receiver. Offensive tackles injured. Dan Moore Jr. is average at best at tackle that they signed for all the dough from the Steelers. So they're still going to be short, but they just don't have enough weapons around Cam. And that's what happens sometimes. We got the number one pick is, do you have the pieces around you? So should you have traded the pick as what I said we should do or take the pick? And, and I get it. You don't want to pass up on a franchise quarterback. And I do believe that he is the guy, to be honest. His leadership skills. He just, he's still a rookie and he's going to learn each day and each game that they play. He's going to get better and learn from them. So I believe in that. But They just don't have enough.
I do have a question before we get started, because we're going to dive into your playing career, but I do have one question, and it was about his comment that he made in the presser, where he basically said the team is playing ass. And so I'm curious, are you upset by those comments, or do you understand and do you think the media is kind of blowing it out of proportion?
well, naturally, I think they're blown out of proportion, but he has to understand where he's standing in this issue, and he's frustrated, probably, being the number one pick, going through this kind of
probably used to winning, not really in a position of losing
in the NFL. I think he thought it's going to be a little bit different, but I really didn't have a problem with it. I think this getting blown way out of proportion. He used the term mid before, and you guys would know what that means, but I'm an old school guy. I was like, mid, what does that mean? Y'all was middle level, or what do you mean? Like, it was just okay, so that's what that meant. And so this time he came out, and I'm glad he actually is, and it shows he has a little bit of old school to him. Is they have been playing not good enough and pretty bad. And he not only said that about the team, but he also said about himself too as well.
Right.
So he did not exclude himself. So he knows they got a long way to go. So now he's realizing what the NFL is really about, and he's got to go to work. So he gets there at 4:30, and he's got great leadership skills, and also he can make some fantastic throws at time. He's just gonna learn. You got to get rid of the ball, can't hold on to it, it can't take unnecessary sack, got to understand situational football, game management, all those things in the NFL at the NFL level. He's still gotten away with some, I would call them Will Levis-esque type play.
That's very generous of you to say.
He didn't get away with it. Actually, Cam Ward has gotten a little fortunate and has gotten away with some of the stuff. So I'm going to see if he continues down this road, or is he going to try to force the issue because he's impatient, he wants to win, or will he sit back and let the game just kind of come to him and take what the defense gives him? That's the hard part, patient.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dive into your playing days, and I'm going to be the first one to ask you about that Music City Miracle game. What was the energy like that game? Because obviously I was a young kid at the time, so I do remember this game very, very well, actually. It's still one of my favorite highlights to see. So I want to get your perspective on the energy level when you're kind of watching this happen.
Yeah, I have to first go into every Saturday we practice that play with different players. I practiced to play myself multiple times. So it was kind of interesting. Our special team coach, Alan Lowry, I think they had done it in the 70s at Texas, and he was there. So it was something we did, for a couple years, not thinking that we'd ever use it. It was kind of like, time to kind of blow off and show who used to have skills. Everybody was a running back or quarterback in high school. And so everybody would be running around having fun with it. And then to see that it worked. And then I think that he was Kevin Dice might have been third in line for that actual play. But he ended up the guy doing it. And Frank Wycheck was always going to be the guy throwing it because he had a throwing background. And and the rest was history. I thought we were a team of destiny once that play worked, because things like that just don't happen. So that was like, now, and the Bills were a really good team, and that was at that time they had benched Flutie for Rob Johnson, so we were kind of a little bit thankful for that, not just because the players were just so different, but Doug Flutie could call. He was magical. He could do things that most players wouldn't do. He could run, he could throw, he knew how to throw through gaps, and even though he was short in stature, he was a problem. But Rob Johnson was the bigger arm, stronger arm guy, but X marks the spot. He was always going to be in his spot, and we were a blitzing team, so that made it a little bit easier for us. So they actually played into our hands and became a defensive battle. And then that kind of play was probably the biggest play, not only in Titans history, I think it's top 5 in NFL history.
I'd say that's about right.
Yeah, so that play was, it was funny. I was standing right there when he threw it right down the line. I go, ooh, I don't know if he really threw it backwards, because I was looking at his body and not where he actually released the ball.
Right.
And so I was like, oh man. Then the place was livid and it was rocking up in there. There was, back then they had the referees over the thing looking at the replay, and
Right.
they were throwing stuff. I mean, it was no way they were going to get out of there if they overturned that play after they let it go. And it was a legitimate play after looking at all the rules. And man, I was super excited. I could not believe it. That whole stadium was shaking. It was unbelievable. What a great rush. And then to go on and then beat Peyton in his house, my hometown in Indianapolis, and then beating Jacksonville, as I thought we were a team of destiny, beating Jacksonville 3 times in a season. They only lost to us all season, 14-3. Unbelievable. I would have bet against me if I was a betting man. So yeah, they had phenomenal players, and with Brunell and Fred Taylor and Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell. They had some, Brady at tight end, Boselli, Cersei. They had really good players. So for us to be able to do that and accomplish that, I thought we had a great shot of winning. We had beaten the Rams earlier in the regular season at home. Since they were in the NFC, we didn't play them very often, but that year we did.
Yeah.
It was, watch this. It was a lot different playing them on grass and then turf.
Yeah, I bet.
The greatest show on turf showed up at the Super Bowl. So yeah, and the rest is history. Come up a little short, but that was a heck of a run, and one I'll take to my grave, and I'll talk about on my porch when I'm throwing rocks at grandkids running walking by.
There you go.
Love that. So, we've kind of built the show based off rivalries, as you know, like Chiefs Broncos, Chiefs Raiders, the interdivisional stuff. So is there a rivalry story or team that stands out most to you from your time in the NFL?
Well, I would say today the divisions are a little bit different. Right now, it's always going to be the Texans with the Jaguars and Colts second. But the Texans, just because of the history of the Houston moving from Houston to Nashville. So there for the ownership group, that's always going to be big and very important throughout the time. But when I was playing, I would say it was the Ravens. They had an elite defense. We did too. They were ranked number 1 in categories, and they get all the glory. Nobody talks about our defense was number 1 in a lot of categories too.
Yeah.
They won the Super Bowl that year. So they kind of did, their style was a little bit different. They did a lot of chapping and talking, and we put on our hard hats and said, we're going to let our play do the talking.
Right.
That's kind of what we were. But that probably was the Ravens. When I first got in the league, it was the Steelers for the organization. At that time, you guys probably weren't even born. It was the AFC Central. I caught the tail end of that.
Oh yeah.
With Steelers and Bengals and Browns were in there. So I would say the Steelers, because they was the king of the hill, and you had to go knock them off the mountaintop. That was the whole goal when Fisher became, the head coach. It was the Steelers was the president, that they were the team. And then, so it was kind of went through its maturation process, but those guys were all physical, really elite players they had on there. And it was fun too. It was just, I was happy to be in the league at that time early in my career. So everything was new and exciting. And as time went on, now you were saying, what am I playing for? And playing for a championship and trying to get a Super Bowl ring. And not too many people can say that they have one.
Right.
Yep.
All right. So obviously, as we've actually interviewed a couple of defensive backs. We've had Eric Coleman on, Eric Warfield. So wonderful guys to talk to and get their perspective on what it's like playing defensive back and safety in that respect. So from when you played to today, what do you think is the biggest difference in the position now playing safety to when you played? And do you think today's safeties could do with what you played against back then?
An interesting question. For me, my background was a cornerback, and I was a nickel when I first got in. So I would say safeties have to have versatility, which is what I actually had. So I would think they'd be able to do that. Now, a lot of guys are converted corners to safeties because of all the passing that's being done in the league now. You got to have some coverage skills. So, I covered the slot, played deep, and then I played in the box. So you want versatility. I love not just defensive backs, but all players. It's like use tight end. I don't want just a run blocking tight end. I want one that's good at pretty much everything. May not be elite at everything, but now you can pigeonhole me into when this guy is in. When I used to study film, they're always going to run the ball, and these are the type of runs they're going to run. So I would look at all those keys and I would carry them to the game, and I remember everything. I had photographic memory, so I didn't forget anything. I could tell you as soon as I lined up what play they were going to run. It 3 plays they're going to run out of this formation. So that's just kind of how it worked. And I'd watch tons of film each week. I'd go back 5-7 years, watch film, because I'm watching the coordinator. So it might not even be with that same team that he's with then. It's going back to look at, they run the same plays wherever they go. They may add some additional plays as weeks go on, but the core of what their basic principle of what their offense is, I had no pads on all the coordinators. There's no way around it. And they go back and they lean into their favorite plays when they go back into the goodie bag. So I'd be ready. So you you have to play smart. A lot of those guys are super athletic.
Right.
And fast. I would say I was just athletic and I was just fast.
Well, I mean, you were a student of the game. I mean, you had to study the coordinators to even know how the players work. So it's all chess,
Yeah. No, and I was a chess champion. So I love that part of going back and forth with the quarterbacks and coordinators and all of that. So I was really into all of that. It was, I wasn't just a football player, but it became that, and really benefited me. All the work ethic and the study habits that I had as an actual student benefited me when I got to the league, and that was probably my edge. I felt like it was my edge, besides my relentless effort never to stop on a play.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have a fourth co-host who happens to be in the Navy, and he has Navy obligations tonight, so he's not able to join us. So he did have a question he wanted to ask. So Carl Pickens has been on here a couple of times. He's a friend of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any fun memories playing against Carl in your day?
Carl Pickens, man. I could say this because since I was a safety, I never had to guard him man-to-man. But there were times I had to get him man-to-man. And, I knew my history on my guy, Carl Pickens, who jumped 6'11" or 7 feet or some craziness in college. That's what I'm talking about, super duper athletes. I was just happy at 5'9", 10, he jumped over 6'5", and that was pretty good for me. So I did have a 42-inch vertical. So I wasn't 360. I was 360 dunking, but you go against guys like that and they're taller than you. Carl's every bit of 6'3" or 4. So I wasn't going to win that battle. So in the goal line area, when they had Corey Dillon and crew, I would be the lone guy when he was the only receiver out there.
Oh no.
And so I had to guard him, and I'd be praying that they don't throw the jump ball right there on the goal line. I was like, all right, I cannot let him get off the gym. And if I do let him get off the gym, I got to be ready to give all my power to jump, because it's going to take everything I got. And all he has to do is just have balance just to jump up, and he has reach advantage and everything else. So luckily for me, a lot of those inaccurate passes there by the quarterback, I think it was Jeff Blake at the time. So I got lucky. So he never did he got one real close. But I start probably punching him in the stomach so he throw up or something.
All right, Mr. Bishop. So it looks like we got one last question.
He always gave us trouble. That was my rookie year too. They had an unbelievable crew with Darnay Scott, Corey Dillon, and Jeff Blake throwing those Malone deep balls.
Oh yeah.
Carl Pickens catching every last one of them. But I wasn't in any of those deep balls.
Okay. You weren't going to be lost over there.
I was not on none of those highlight reels. Like,
yeah,
out there on that one, I might have been. I mean, because everybody's gotten toasted by somebody. I'm always thankful that I'm not in a lot of those reels.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like we've got time for one more question before we let you go, because we know that we want to honor the time that you've given us. So, I hope that you come back, though, because we have a bunch of more questions that we wanted to ask you. But I think the one that we definitely want to know is, when people hear the name Blaine Bishop, what do you want people to remember you by, in terms of whether it's being an NFL career or what are you doing off of the NFL field? What do you want people to remember when they hear your name?
Oh, that's interesting. No one's ever asked me that.
Oh.
So that's kind of, I've never really thought about it. I would say that I was an all-around great human being. and that I was more than just a football player, because I am, that's just something that I did. I maximized, my ability and God-given gifts that were given to me. I got the most out of my body, and that he was a relentless player that was not only a great human on the field, but off the field, and did a lot in the community. So that's kind of who I am and what I'm about, pretty much, my entire life, actually. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate you sharing that. I hope that you do come back so we can peel back the layers of Mr. Bishop and get to know you.
Well, I can go a little bit longer. I got to 05. They just text me they're behind. So is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, 100%.
5 more minutes. So maybe we get a couple more questions in there for the brothers up there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, where did we? All right. I think we're going to go. I think just for me personally, obviously, Chiefs fan, Coach Reid is there. You obviously had the opportunity with Coach Reid. Just want to know what he was like as a coach.
Oh,
from your perspective.
Man, he's like he's like a big teddy bear that is thankful for his opportunity. I was so elated excited for him when he got it. Won it with the Chiefs. They're that first one. Because he's such a great human being, really thoughtful and caring for players. There's a whole nother side nobody sees, but man, he was a joy just to be around, to be honest. And then when he had some great coaches with him, you can see his coaching tree. I was there when Harbaugh was there, head coach of the Ravens. To Steve Spagnuolo was my actual position coach.
Oh, wow.
Leslie Frazier. Oh, yeah, I keep in touch with these guys too. Leslie Frazier. Rivera, McDermott, the list goes on. They're all over the place. But yeah, he's a special individual. There's no question about it. Probably, he's I only had 2 head coaches, so yeah, he a little bit of time I was there, I enjoyed it immensely.
Oh, awesome.
So what people don't know about me, when I was a younger kid, I had a Javon Kearse jersey, so I was secretly a Titans fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to ask this one. So you got a chance to practice against Steve McNair, Eddie George, Kevin Dyson, Derek Mason, all those guys. How did that sharpen the defense up and get you guys kind of ready for the week?
Oh man, we had a very competitive unit because we were so middle of the road for 3 or 4 years in a row there that we really didn't know how good we were going to be the year we went to the Super Bowl until Javon Kearse got on our team. And we didn't know what he was actually going to do, even going into the first game, because he had played outside linebacker, but he really wasn't a defensive end in a 3-point stance. So he was really trying to figure out how to take on double downs with the tight end and tackle. He was having issues. He was getting pushed back into the linebacker area in the preseason at practice. And man, the coach, Greg Williams, was riding so hard. I'm like, oh my gosh, man, I don't know. And he kept slowly each preseason game. And back then you played 4. By the third one, you could see that he started figuring it out and how to play defensive end. And he was so talented and so fast and so athletic. And, that's that first round talent. Junior. I would always say to him, hey, man, I can beat you and run. He's like, okay, well, we can race whenever you want to. I said, but we will never be racing. So the first game against the Bengals in the stadium, in Nissan Stadium that season, Javon Kearse had arrived, and it showed in the game. And from that point on, it never stopped. And it changed our entire defense. So you're talking about what it brought to the table. He made everybody's job a lot easier. He's a 4'4" guy going around the edge, man, and he's a phenomenal athlete, long arms, big old hands. Guy's a freak of nature, and get that name for nothing. So, man, once that happened, then we thought, we got a shot. Because all the other guys, we were all, blue collar, hardworking. We had enough. We had leadership. We had a good mix of young and old players. So we were right on point. And he was the last piece to the puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was absolutely one of my favorite players growing up too. Obviously had the jersey. So
great dude too, man.
And that's something I don't tell many people. I've always been a Broncos fan, but Javon Kearse and that Titans team, with the one you happen to play on, that was actually kind of one of the first teams that I was kind of like glued to. and he was a big reason for that. So I think, Cody, your question, buddy.
Yeah, so I think so this one is just more for fun for us. And of course, you're one of the hardest hitting safeties in the NFL when you played. What's the hardest hit that you can remember that you delivered to somebody?
No. Oh, oh man, I don't know, man. That'd be a question for them to ask them. I have this mutual respect for this guy, and I don't want him to take it the wrong way, but I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, and he hasn't gotten in yet. He's not really on the nomination, but it was because I had to play my A game to go against him, and that'd be Fred Taylor.
Oh yeah,
Fred Taylor at running back. Yeah, he was really good at everything. And as I told you guys, I like players that are good at everything. Mm-hmm. And that way you can't. So he was a great blocker. He was a great runner, naturally being a running back. He was a great catcher. I remember one time I blitzed and he hit me in my ear so hard I thought I had doorbells ringing. I was like, oh dang. So after he tried to annihilate me, once I got a chance to really get him, we went head to toe. Head to toe. It was the alley. You got to decide. This is an alley. We both running down. Somebody is going backwards. And I didn't wrap up at all. So, yeah, he got me a few times and I got him a few. So I would say that because I can recall that. And it was another time, my rookie year, it surprised me. Marcus Allen got me on a blitz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did. And, it was funny because he was kind of slender build, but, man, that was when he was with the Chiefs, too.
Yep.
My rookie year with Joe Montana was the quarterback. And, man, he got me. I was like, whoa. And that was a playoff game, too. That was a game we lost my rookie year, but I was a part-time player. But, yeah.
Man, incredible.
Everybody's gotten got. It don't matter who you are. Yeah. If you were the Hall of Fame best player, first ballot, there was always somebody, and they didn't even have to be a Hall of Fame player. That's what's so weird is you can get guys. Some guys just got your number like in a certain manner, and they could be because they were just awkward in the way they went about their business, how they played. It was just weird. So yeah, Fred T was always.
We had Chris McCoy on end of last week, and he even talked about a little bit about the Steve Atwater hit that was laid on him. So he's, everyone gets hit. Everyone thinks a Nigerian Nightmare is always the one delivering punishment.
Yeah.
Well, even he got by Mr. Steve Atwater. So like you said, everyone gets it, right?
Yeah. And it's against a great player too. So
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
So. All right, Mr. Bishop, I know that we've got to let you go. Thank you so much for giving us your time. It was very gracious of you to do. I hope we can have you back on, and that way we can continue and have some more fun conversations and talk more football.
No doubt. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, sir. Be well. All right, guys. Wow, that was Mr. Blaine Bishop. What a phenomenal conversation. Very funny storyteller, too. Yep, I know. Hey, we came prepared, Jeff, so... Shout out to Jeff. He is the sponsor for the War Room JBW Solutions Studio, of course, where we're recording out of, as everyone knows. He sent us some merch, so we've got polos, which is Austin's favorite, and also some great hats. Yep, Mr. Bishop was great. You're right, Meg. Welcome to the JBW Solutions Studio. Well, boys, what do we think?
I think that could have been a 2-hour one, honestly.
Yeah.
The way it was going, he was very passionate about some of those moments that he was when he was playing. It's I mean that was one that I think we may have ran out of questions. We would have had to come up with some, but his answers were just like so thorough and
really good too.
Really good. That kind of had me giddy a couple questions, asking him about Javon Curse, who was one of my favorite players. And then, Steve McNair, I mean, Madden 99 or whatever it was, Madden 2000 using the Titans teams. So it's like,
yeah. What did you think, Austin?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that could have been just with like the rundown we had, that could have been like a 2.5 hour episode. Cause we would have had follow-ups and we would have just got lost talking in all the stories. And I mean, like, in just the way he remembers it still, right? Like, remembers his opponents, and like, I know he said, photographic memory and, student of the game, chess champion and all that. But like, he was talking about these stories from, mid to late 90s, early 2000s. And he remembers, like all the offensive players he was playing against and all that. Like, yeah, that it was obviously very, very gracious that he gave us the time that he had. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I can't wait to show Carl his answer to that question, because he lit up a little bit, man. He got kind of excited about it.
Well, I mean, he knows that they're boys, so I don't think he wanted to give him too much stuff about it, but they would be fun to have on together to just talk about and reminisce about what it was like playing against each other, or, when they were on the same team for a little bit. So I'm sure that would be a great time to have them both on. And I was actually really excited when we asked him about, and I was surprised that no one's asked him this, the question that we normally ask all the former athletes about, what do they want people to remember their name? And he was just kind of taken back. He's like, wow, no one's really asked me that question. And I was like, all the more reason why we want to get to know you even more. Like, playing career is great, but who's Blaine Bishop, So
and that's kind of our question, right? Like, that's, when we run through the whole rundown and we have, the time to do so, and we get to know them from like their college days, like what made them go that route, learn, their college or their playing career, and then get to know what they're kind of doing afterwards, right? And anyone who follows him or anything, he really does do a significant amount of things for the community, within the community. Like, you probably wouldn't know that he was a former football player. You would just see that he's some just giant person who gets involved in the community, right? So I'm glad that he had that reaction to our question, because honestly, that's kind of our kind of wrap up and quote unquote big question, right? So to see his reaction like that, and he was kind of happy to share that and whatnot, I thought it was really cool.
And I would like to talk to him a little more about that Super Bowl. In a polite way, like not saying, hey, I'm trying to rub it in, or like, we have no affiliation with the St. Louis Rams. We do love Coach Vermeil and what Coach was able to share, but now you could maybe get it from the opposite perspective. Coach walked us through that last drive perfectly. Like it was nothing. He had it all mapped out, memorized, and what they were going to do and how he was planning. Hey, we should plan for overtime now. Let's get ready for overtime. Where then he tells us, hey, Jeff Fisher told me he was going to go for 2. So it's like, what's that like on the opposite side of that? You're the defense kind of, watching, your offense possibly get to that. And it's not, again, like I said, it's not to bring up or discredit what they did, because he's absolutely right. That defense was absolutely stacked that year, but their offense was really good too. They had Steve McNair, they had Frank Wycheck, they had Eddie George, Derek Mason, and Kevin Dyson. So that offense was really good in its own right. So that Super Bowl actually was a really good matchup between two really good teams. So again, we got a chance to hear him talk about the Music City Miracle, which I think we all remember that. They're still showing the commercial on it now for DraftKings. DraftKings had it on. I think we see it all the time. I think we were watching Monday Night Football yesterday. So it's, hey, the Music City Miracle, Kevin Hart, LeBron James talking about it. So it's like we got to hear his perspective on it. And he's like, yeah, I was standing right there. That's kind of cool. So dude, that could have been a 2-hour one for sure.
I think the cool part of hearing that is, right, like we remember the Titans coming up a yard short and kind of what took place. But I think the cool thing that he was able to provide was like kind of leading up to that is they started to feel like, it was their destiny. Like it was kind of their fate. And it's kind of like drawing out like a movie, right? Like kind of an underdog. You don't think that you're supposed to be here. And he's not wrong. Those Jaguar teams during that time were absolutely lethal. Yeah. To be the only team that beat the Jags 3 times that year shows that how kind of, okay, like we kind of feel like it's our year. But then like each win, he kept saying like, it's our fate, it's our fate. And then you see how it ended, just coming up so short. yeah, I thought it was cool to get that perspective of, it, not only he, but the team kind of thought it was their fate. And like, I don't know. I thought it was a cool, different perspective that we obviously would have never known without talking to him.
Yeah.
Let's flip that around now, Cody. Let's get your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I think what's great and why I kind of agree. I wish we could have talked about the Super Bowl a little bit more, only because like the Rams were actually trailing in a majority of that game. And it wasn't until late in the fourth is when they started moving. And, when we had Coach Vermeil on, he was talking about, Shorts calling up Mark, calling up great plays to kind of get them in position and then ultimately score and go up. But then the Titans then go back down and almost score, and is what we were talking about. But, I would have loved to get more of like, his time in Houston. I would have loved to know like, what was it like to go from Houston and then to Tennessee? And was there any backlash from Houston fans and now Tennessee fans? And, he kind of did allude to now that the new rivalry between kind of today is like the Titans versus Houston Texans, because it's like the old going against the new and like who really represents Houston. So I'd have loved his perspective on that. And, he gave us a lot of great insight with Cam Ward and what everyone's feelings are in Titans country right now with them losing and, Cam Wharton's remarks and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's so much that we could have talked to him about. And honestly, he is so charismatic that I wish we had 2 hours with him, because it would blink before we know it. And we would have to say, man, we need you on for another 2 more hours. Because very similar to Carl Pickens, he's got stories for days, and it's just so easy to talk to them. And just like, once they ask this, oh my gosh, tell us more about that. And then you hear just story upon story. So it's really great to talk to an individual like Bishop, man. He is such a cool guy.
And I will say that I was reading some of the Titans people that follow us, and we've obviously followed them. Some of them actually thought that Brian Callahan may have been fired immediately after that Houston game, just because the owner hates Houston that much. And that it means a little more to her that they don't. And then the show, it was downright embarrassing, essentially.
Would they not score? It was like 26-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they missed like 3 field goals, 2 field goals, and then just obviously the offense continues to do what the offense has done most of the season. So
right.
So yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, just reading what Titan fans are saying and what that actually means to the owner, and she absolutely hates losing to Houston for obvious reasons, of course. So yeah, I mean, and he was able. So I think getting his perspective on, that move from Houston to Nashville and what that means, that so hopefully stay tuned. Hopefully,
yeah, we need to keep in touch with him. Make sure that we need to get him and Carl on the same screen. That'd be so fun.
Yeah, no, I'm extremely excited to see Carl's reaction when we show him that little clip and see how, hey man, Blaine lit up. But Carl also, my brother mentioned that Carl name dropped Blaine when I think the first time he was on. So
yeah, he did.
And there's some probably friendship there. So maybe you never know. Matt and Austin can see what they can work their magic.
I know. I think they're still waiting on Rod Smith to get back to them from Eric Warfield, or not Eric Warfield. Who was it that?
It was Eric Warfield.
It was Eric Warfield. Okay. Yeah, I think they're waiting to get that connection. So.
If Blaine wanted to throw something out there to Javon Curse, I mean,
Oh my gosh, I might see you evaporate off screen.
Dude, the freak. He was. I don't know.
He was so good. He was
10-year-old me. 10-year-old me repping the Javon Curse jersey. I was like, "What's up?"
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Honestly, too, if we ever got Dwight Freeney on, because he was a defensive player that I loved, because every time he was on the screen, he was sacking a quarterback. He'd be a guy. Oh yeah, let's get them all. Max Crosby, even, I think he does a podcast. He should come on. We should collab.
What about our homie John Abraham though?
Isn't he nominated for the Hall of Fame? Didn't we get that news?
So we got to
get right. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We had that nice little discussion with him on it. Yeah.
Hold on. We have some sound effects now, guys. Hold on. So this is for John Abraham for being nominated for the Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
Deserved.
Well deserved. So I'd like to see him, make the cut. I know that obviously it's kind of the big nomination. So they got all the nominees now, and then they'll start kind of dwindling down, and then they'll make the announcement. I think Super Bowl week. if I remember correctly, or right before, sometime in the playoffs. So, any last thoughts on tonight?
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. We need to have him back for sure. He's definitely a guest that needs to come back, and we need to keep diving into more about who Blaine is, because obviously we know him as Blaine Bishop, but there's a Blaine behind that I'm curious to get to know.
Yeah, I mean, we know him as a hard hitting safety, and we got to hear a little bit with his answer about, how he's, a chess player, and there's a little bit more to football to him. But I would really like to dive into more of that. So I completely agree. We'll see what we can work up with him and Mr. Pickens and get just a real good time going on in here. But no, I think my takeaway is he's not wrong. Everyone always talks about those Ravens defenses, right? I'm pretty sure I've referenced those Ravens defenses on multiple shows.
Making today's Ravens defense embarrassing.
Yeah, absolutely.
What defense?
Yeah, right.
But the defenses we had back then, right? Like we talked to Chris Hovan about the Tampa 2 with Kiffin there, and then that time was also the Chicago Bear defenses, the Ravens, the Titans. Like, it's starting to make sense why I'm a defensive guy, right? Like, we had some legendary defenses.
Yeah, but the Chiefs didn't.
I don't know why I was a Chiefs fan.
I don't know. Maybe Mama Shovit can tell us in the comments what happened.
That's fair. I mean, it's probably just because the homies, the Chiefs player's dad saved my life. I'm sure that has a little to do with it. But I
mean, if that happened to me, I'd probably be a Chiefs fan until I died too. So yeah,
that probably has to do with it. But those defenses back then were historic. I mean, that was it 2001 or 2003 Ravens defense.
Just a streak of 99 to I would even say 06, probably the run of the greatest defenses that the NFL still talks about.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, I would say that.
And we've gotten some players on from those teams, and I just think it's absolutely awesome. I don't want to point it out just in case we have him back on, but we reference him as the hardest hitting safety, but people don't realize that he's my size.
Well, you're not. You're a little under 5'9". Don't give yourself too much credit.
I'm 5'8", which is, I mean, that's almost most safeties are significantly taller and bigger than me.
Maggie or Muffs, he's a short guy.
He's a short king.
He's 5'1", so
he's 5'8" with his Air Force Ones on, because they've got the 3-inch lifts in there.
But in general, basically the same size, right? Compared to other safeties, I'm not I have a hard time tackling my dogs very well, and he's just out here laying out NFL players.
Yeah,
and I don't know. That's something I want to dive into more with him, because I don't know. I guess a comparable would be Tyrann Mathieu being a hard hitter. Did we lose Cody?
I think we may have lost Cody. So thank those of you that tuned in tonight. We did have Blaine Bishop on, former defensive back for the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Oilers. So welcome back, Cody.
Thank you. I don't know what happened. Sorry, guys.
Booted yourself.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So, there's so many players that we've had on that have been part of great defenses. Quentin Jammer in his own right, Eric Warfield, Eric Coleman, John Abraham. So, we've all gotten kind of a really cool, unique perspective of each kind of decade, right? Each decade, it seems like, as far as what defensive backs and defensive linemen and whatnot. And then, I'm ready to hear more stories from that era. We've obviously had Carl Pickens on, who was obviously one of the better receivers in the 90s, if not the best receiver in the 90s. So, I mean, 30 minutes was great. It really was. But at the same time, it's just man, there's so many other thoughts that are I could create a whole new rundown of questions right now for him.
Yeah. I think too, I would love to hear his perspective on different, obviously today's game is a lot different, and we all acknowledge that and recognize that every time. And I would just love to hear more perspective of if they wanted to make football safer, what could they have done differently to keep the physicality in there, but still keep the hard hitting action and make it safe? Because, I'm sure he has opinions on what is now considered a pass interference, or you can't hit guys here or there or whatnot. So I'm sure there's a lot of, I'm curious what his opinions are of like the rule changes and how defenses now, there's really not elite defenses like we've seen before. And a lot of that is rules that kind of go against that. And I'm also curious what's his thought about the tush push thing, because now it's getting up steam again. I'm curious if he has any thoughts about it.
I think it just needs to be officiated. That's where the steam's coming from. Like, if it's going to be a legal play, then like the rules still have to apply to it type deal.
And this guy had a chance to play with Brian Dawkins for a year or two. So I'd love to hear his thoughts on getting to play alongside Brian Dawkins and like the intensity that he brought every game. And, you know, as a older vet, did that kind of like juice him up a little more and get him kind of psyched to go into games. So there you go.
There's a story on how you became a Chiefs fan.
I mean, I was too young, so I was probably just brainwashed by my mom, and that's what she says.
What do they call it nowadays? You were indoctrinated?
That's a big word.
You can still be a Raiders fan if you want.
Nah. I would pick a team with a defense.
We have a defense.
A good defense. Sorry. I know you have defensive players out there.
I am beyond excited to hear Cody's crash out tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm already still trying to like decompress, and I'm already trying not to like throw every device I have when I see the score, and just acknowledging that like, okay, we're probably stuck with what we at for at least another season. When is the winning start? I texted you guys in the group chat, and I think I'll say this. I was still getting frustrated with Matt goes, "It's going to be okay, man." And I'm like, dude, shut up. I don't want to hear that right now.
Well, I think for me, it's actually seeing all the Raider fans freaking out I shouldn't say this far into the season, this short into the season, as far as, well, we need to get rid of Pete's old. Pete's lost it. Pete hasn't lost it. This
is the one thing about Raider fans, and I'll say that I'm in this Venn diagram of it, and I'll admit that, which is there's a lot of hype, a lot of excitement. Then we see probably what a real football team that we are, and then it's like, we're dog stuff. It's the end of the world. We suck, and that's it. And you know, we're calling for everyone's head, and you know, this is why the Raiders don't know what stability is, because
dude, I think at one point you called for Kenny Pickett, bro. Like,
he did.
Calm down.
First off, we literally had 3 offensive possessions that ended in an interception or a turnover.
It's not going to help, though. Like, Geno Smith is your best option.
Sure, but he was not against the Bears, clearly.
He was.
No, he gave them 3 extra possessions. 2 of them were in the second half.
Better than Kenneth Pickett.
Austin, don't do this to me, man.
Save it for tomorrow. Please. No. We had a good night tonight. We had Blaine Bishop join us. Let's save this for tomorrow. Let Cody kind of simmer more on it.
Let me slow roast in my Badger barrel.
Send a couple texts to the old chat here, you know.
Yeah, I just sent one and called him a hoe.
Periodically. And we'll dive into the Raiders debacle, and you can give your thoughts on, you know, on the Raiders. And yeah, I mean, I keep seeing it. It's just Pete this, Pete that, Pete's sons, Pete's this.
Okay, Pete's sons. That's a valid argument. That's a valid.
We're going to circle back to a lot of topics, and I'm going to foreshadow. Because we obviously know what each other's segments are going to be tomorrow and what pretty much everyone's going to talk about. So I know, Corey, you had circled a particular fan base on your Crossfire, which I cannot wait for that to be.
I'm so stoked.
I bet you are. So yeah, I can't wait either. So
yeah, no, it was just baffling to me just watching that game. So,
but it went exactly how it was discussed,
almost to the T, man. We had
literally
predicted that game exactly how it was going to go. Like from like the Chiefs were going to put it on, they were going to have a comfortable lead in the second half, and the Ravens were not going to play their game. It was exactly what we said.
It was beautiful, but tune in tomorrow. We're kind of foreshadowing a lot of it right now, but obviously you can see how the Raiders conversations are. What the Mom?
I guess you need a nap and a tan.
I took a nap before.
Bearskin berry.
Jesus, I don't even know what I was going to say now. Just like, hey, not
Can
only
we
do I
get
love your brother more,
Can
but
we
you
get
look
a bronzer to sponsor the show for you?
My arms are actually more tan than usual because I've been playing a lot of golf.
We've been so much golf.
Oh, I'm sure it's even whiter on the sleeves then.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, hold on. I don't have my spy optics on. Sorry.
Yeah. So you said just tune in tomorrow. We'll have our normal normal episode tomorrow. We'll break down this last weekend's games. Big Monday night win for the Broncos. Big win for the Chiefs, Chargers, and Raiders.
Big losses from the Chargers and Raiders for
huge
everyone.
loss. I think this is a huge loss
for that. I don't know why we keep emphasizing big loss here. Let's pump the brakes, you guys. May offset the paleness.
Yeah.
By the way, these match really well with the Raider flag, so I just want to point that out. Thank you, JBW Solutions, for the merch.
Honestly, I woke up from a nap and then just walked downstairs. So like, I grabbed a drink and didn't process anything else. So
sounds super familiar, doesn't it, Cody?
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was gonna say is,
what's your top 5?
It's been halfway confirmed, but I'll throw it into the universe anyway. After the Chiefs Monday night game next week, the following day, we are going to have Jimmy Smith on.
Oh, yeah.
He was name dropped tonight.
Still going to confirm that another guest later in that week. We're not going to actually name drop them, though, because we want that to be a surprise. But then the week after is Raider week, Cody. We got former Chiefs linebacker Kawika Mitchell, who hates the Chiefs.
You mean hates the Raiders?
Just as much as the rest of the Chiefs people do.
Okay.
So super excited about that. Unfortunately, no Raiders people wanted to come on for Chiefs week. Makes no sense, but it is what it is. But yeah, so
were they invited?
Yeah.
Okay.
Raiders people just don't like to come out of hiding.
I think they just have a hard time with the season. So
yeah, they're already done.
They've got obligations, I think.
What are they just talking shit on?
They are
right now.
They are. It looks like he dipped his face in flour. Oh my God!
It's called cocaine, Mom.
Austin is catching these strays.
He's catching it so bad. It's because the light's literally right there
above
on him too. It's like, in his defense, yes, he's super white, but at the same time, he does have the light right there. So, anyway,
yeah. You guys see what I have to put up with?
That doesn't seem bad to me. So,
being unloved as a child, all right.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, being sat next to the favorite sibling, is that right?
My whole life.
Oh my gosh.
Right,
use one of the new JBW Solutions hats.
Looking for a new studio name.
No, we're not.
Well, come on. If you can joke, I can joke.
No,
not with Jeff.
So, Cody, go ahead and take us home.
All right, guys. So we appreciate you guys listening. If you guys have not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, share, comment, all that stuff. Get our channel out there because we're trying to do everything we can to get the subscribers up. And we have obviously a big Christmas giveaway, and we want to get as many subscribers by that time as possible for the giveaway. And that's on our Instagram if you guys want to know what it is. We have a bunch of partners to thank. One of them being the most important, which is what we've been name dropping all episode. JBW Solutions, Jeff and the crew. They are veteran owned, community driven, safety focused. So we love their partnership, and we love the new merch that we got. Corey and I are rocking the hats. I'm wearing the polo, and Austin's a polo guy, so I can't wait till he wears it tomorrow. I'm sure he will. And then we want to thank Homage. I just got the merch in the mail yesterday. It's great. They have nothing but phenomenal athletic wear, and also they have some TV and retro kind of inspired merch. So definitely go visit them in the link down below. Shank It Golf, which Austin has a bunch of their stuff. Beard Club, which as you can see, Austin is an ambassador for because that beard is righteous. And then Emporia Federal State Credit Union. We appreciate Angie and the crew. Did I get that wrong again?
Yeah.
Okay. Emporia State Federal Credit Union. I'm so sorry, guys. This is
You're good.
You guys should take over that one from now on. But and then lastly, Field Ops, Troy and the crew. Go to fieldops.com/Kansas to get field markings, and get situated with your leagues or games in the Kansas area. Did I touch on everybody? Am I missing anybody?
Yeah, you did.
Who'd I miss?
Yeah, so
Badger Barrel. Golly.
Well, Badger Barrel too. Again, still working on my menu for this weekend. Make sure you guys check the link below. Go look at all their cool stuff. Go buy a barrel grill. They are fantastic and phenomenal. And as you can see, we're brother down tonight. Matt has obligations that he had to partake and do for his job in the Navy. So again, I know he was in the comments earlier. Sorry, Matt. We did see him. So I know he's probably not watching now because I think he had to go. But there you go. In a world of butterflies, be a Badger, as Matt always says.
Yes, sir.
So we can't wait to have Matt back. It was a little weird not having him here tonight, but that's okay. He was still here in spirit. He was still super excited that he got to see Blaine Bishop answer the question about Carl. So Matt will be back in no time. So with that, we will see you guys tomorrow night as we drop our seggies and do a quick recap of past weekend games. And we look forward to this weekend's game. Thank you.
See you guys tomorrow.